Welcome to our leadership series. This is a part of a leadership series to benefit the growth of you as a leader. This training touches on creating a compelling vision for you and your team. This is the number one question I get from leaders. How do I keep my team motivated? It can be challenging because you're working with a volunteer workforce that chooses to be here, and it involves people that are unpredictable and inconsistent. Our job is to help them figure out what their inner motivation is, since motivating others is something that comes from within. If you can tap into it, it can be a game changer. I know I said the training was about compelling vision, so let's take a look at how developing a vision can directly relate to keeping your team in the game. What does it take to keep someone motivated? I can pinpoint three main things. First, be realistic when you're sponsoring team members. This is not a wholesale buyer's club. It is not a deal to purchase a business kit, and it does require work, time, and commitment to be successful. We've talked about this before, and that you can't tell someone nothing is required other than 150 in a rolling 6-month period and expect them to be your next rock star. I also know that there are kidnappers out there who go on to do great things. You could have been one yourself until you saw and realized that there was more to the business than you expected. People that join your team typically say they're a kidnapper because they don't know what to expect and they don't want to set themselves up to fail. They also don't want to disappoint you by telling you something that they're going to do that they don't know if they can. So be sure you are sharing the possibilities with everyone, making sure that mentioning building a business to create consistent income is one of them, even if they've told you they want to be a kidnapper. Next is getting a clear vision of what they want from the business. It helps them and it helps you. That can be accomplished with a series of questions, best when asked when they first join. If you can connect with them to a vision of what they want to accomplish to a strong reason to make that happen, the chances of achieving success with them is much greater. This certainly can be done with any of you that may already be existing leaders and are working with a team that's already in place. Lastly, helping them to identify where in their life the business is going to fit in. This is a questionnaire that you can use as a resource for working with your team to get to know them better and to help you see who you need to work with more closely. It's also a great exercise for you to go through as well. This training, honestly, is about you first, then your team. I found that as leaders, you either just get disconnected from the reason that you joined, or it has changed since you started, and maybe you're brand new and you haven't figured it out yet. Then you never take the time to really reflect on it once you're actually in the business. I really would encourage you to try to revisit your reason every year or two, because it certainly can change. I started out with this extreme desire to show women that they had choices. After leaving a demanding corporate job, spending 50 hours a week away from our daughters, and realizing I could have a business working from home that allowed me to satisfy my professional need and to be a good mom and role model for my kids, I wanted everyone to know something like this existed. It then turned into empowering women in a bigger way and helping others to achieve their best, with the business being a vehicle to become what they wanted. Being a businesswoman with the luxury of working from home became my thing. So I just want to encourage you to consider that. So let's talk about you. I want this training to be about you and your vision. Going through the process for yourself will also then help you to go through it with your team. If you take it seriously and truly explore why you really chose this career path and what you hope to achieve with it, will help you to stay motivated yourself when you're feeling that lack of motivation hitting you. There are so many questions that I could ask you if we were sitting down across from the table from each other, but I just chose these few. Why did you choose to work in this field of direct sales? What specific life changes are you dreaming of? And how will your life be different as a result? When you really figure this out, create a picture or a visual around that vision. I've talked about the power of self-affirmation several times and how your brain cannot distinguish between what is real and what is fabricated. What you tell it, it will believe. So if you say you can't do something, you are right. But this tidbit of information I found really explains it even more. I never really understood, honestly, why creating a visual was such an important element in achieving goals. How many times have you personally done vision boards? It's one of the most powerful things I first did when I started direct sales and went to a weekend retreat with about 15 to 20 women. We were asked to create our board and then explain why it meant so much to us. I had never done that in the many years in the corporate world, and I remember being in the center of the group sharing mine and cried through most of it. It struck such a chord with me that I could actually create the life I wanted and be home with our daughters as well. So reading this piece about us having three brains makes sense. The reptilian brain, not reptile, reptilian brain is really about the physiological functions like breathing and heartbeat. Next is the neocortex brain that understands language and does our conscious thinking. And last is the mammalian brain. It really doesn't understand language, only pictures. So unconscious thoughts and emotions live here. And creating a picture of your goal achievement really speaks to the language of this brain. And as a result, you really start to feel it in your body. And engaging your mammalian brain gives you the drive to move forward despite any obstacles or challenges that you might be facing. So if you've never created a vision board or something similar, I want to encourage you to do it. Then you need to look at it often. This brings section 1 to a close.